Okay, y'all. So this first video is really just going to be about a list of supplies to get started in hand tool woodworking because it can get a little overwhelming, and also like I feel like a lot of videos, great videos, great creators online. If you're looking into it, they'll have videos where what do you need, and it's like just a chisel, just a set of chisels and a can-do attitude, and you really do need a lot more than that just to do anything. So um also I have I just this is the way I have to organize my thoughts and organize what I can afford and how much, what the running total is of this money. So if you missed my intro video, my name is Ash. I'm sure you can tell by my accent, I'm in the South. I'm in North Carolina. Go Heels. I'm a 32-year-old woman. No, I'm not. I'm almost 35. Wow. COVID time, y'all. COVID time. I'm a woman in my 30s. I live in a less than 1,000 square foot condo in a metro area, and I want to get into woodworking. I have multiple sclerosis, which has caused nerve damage in my right leg and right arm mainly. So there's going to be a lot of things with just the supplies I buy or the things I build or how I build them is really going to be specific to my limitations. But I'm hoping that there may be something that someone can take away from it, whether it's because of physical limitation or a space limitation or financial limitation, um, or anything like that. Just finding alternative ways to be able to do this hobby successfully and incorporate it into your life, whatever your life looks like right now. So I hope that you know, watching me watching my struggle is entertainment first of all, but also that y'all can take some tips away or get a spark of an idea for something that y'all you might could incorporate into your own situation and space. So I really had to make a list of things I could think of that I know that I would need bare minimum to build a workbench. Like my first project is going to be a bench. Like I need a work surface before I can do anything else. Um, and I need to do it as cheaply as possible because when you are disabled, the jobs aren't always begging for you. So uh, but that's a whole side quest story. We will so I just want to go through this list with y'all, that way if you're making kind of your beginner, like I have nothing and I need to buy things to get to started with anything, you um that you're not as surprised as I was when I really started thinking this through, and that you can kind of better make choices on what you're prioritizing and what you're purchasing if you're really limited on a budget. um, I really initially started off, thinking about power tools, but there were just too many. I felt like there were too many barriers in between me and like being able to do it in a way that was sustainable and enjoyable for me. Like I mentioned, I live in a small condo community. I don't have a garage. I have 2 bedrooms that are full of stuff that's gonna have to be resolved. I'm gonna set up my workspace in my dining area, not a room, an area. Um, and I just couldn't figure out, excuse me, like the cost of the power tool situation, the storage situation that would require, how I would work. Like I was trying to figure out how to work outside because I feel like I can't, don't really have a way to control like a lot of dust like that if you're working with power tools. So I just kind of abandoned that pretty quickly and just, said, how can I get started with hand tools, a way for me to kind of use my brain and, stay active, which can be hard to do with a disability. Um, and I definitely am not saying that I'm gonna be like solely hand tools, but as far as like accessibility and um, simplicity and storage space and wood and wood chip and kind of dust control. I think that just makes a lot more sense for me. But so anyway, going into the bench itself, as you can see, just to kind of walk you through this spreadsheet, I have this kind of this is my second. Okay, we're getting off to a great start with my channel because this is my second time recording this because my power went out. My the mic that I bought specifically for this wasn't working well when I listened to it back, and my cat was screaming in the background. So, um, this is take two, y'all. Um, so just if you want to come over to this AH column, this is just to give you just a skip to the end type of thing. Like if I wanted everything on this list, this is what I would be spending, and this is what I'm trying to not exceed right now is that kind of $490 $500 range. So I'll get rid of that total cost so it's not confusing. So this is kind of my actual. So you can see I've got kind of the category of the item itself, how many I would need if I was going to get it, how many I'm actually going to get right now, and then just a checkbox um, as I receive the item, and then kind of what I decided was going to be my source for purchasing um, the unit cost, and then kind of the actual cost that I'm spending. And then I just had notes at the end. That way I could keep track of things like I'm getting 10 boards, like this is why, and the price that I have here was because this was on sale on this day. By the time I purchase this, that may change, so I may have to go to a different source to kind of keep the cost the same. So I can see with a lot of the bench projects, biggest thing is you got to have the lumber to build it. I ended up getting the 2 inch by 2 by 4 by 4 foot from Home Depot. Pretty affordable. Um, again, sometimes it's just, I mean, a lot of times really it's going to be easier for me to just have things shipped to me. I do have a local Rockler and Woodcraft, and I have a Home Depot around the corner, but that's physical energy spent to go and do that. And then I do not want to get sucked into um, looking at tools that I have no business looking at. So it's just easier for me to stick to I'm going to purchase this. It's going to come to me, and that's going to be that. So the wood was pretty straightforward. I don't even think it listed if it was pine or poplar or whatever it was, but it doesn't really matter right now. I just need something. Maybe I'll build something nicer later, but when I'm still trying to figure out like what size works for me, what I want the legs to be, um, what I may need like around the bench to maintain my work area, like I just need a tabletop. I've got that. I received that. They kind of dumped it at my doorstep, which was fine. Just kind of loose 10 boards. They're pretty light, so I was able to get that in. Um, had some splinters, so I need to be more mindful about that because you can't just grab them. Um, but yeah, that was kind of fine. Everything else about the bench, y'all, is waiting. I think some of these things I'm considering maybe trying to use some scrap wood to build, like some of the bench dogs. So I just don't have anything else related to this bench top budgeted right now. Um, even the trim, like I'm probably going to end up just using the same material. I ordered some extra boards because I wasn't sure exactly what the dimensions were going to be, and I may end up just painting or staining the same wood out on the outside to make it kind of give the illusion of trim. That's probably what I'm gonna end up doing. Um, so yeah, so that's the bench, like just the wood, y'all, basically. Um, so the cutting tools. This is kind of the list you can get on like this is all you need, and you know, uh, yeah, for this category of cutting tools, maybe. So I just got a cheap 4 piece chisel set from Amazon for $9.99. I feel like while I'm still like learning the basics, learning how to sharpen correctly, like there's no need for me to spend more than that. And I really, again, with my limitations with kind of my hand strength and grip and ability and any kind of modifications I may want to make to make my tool work for me. Um, I would just rather just buy kind of the basic um, tool and just work with it and then go from there. So yeah, the chisel sets you don't have to get crazy with, fortunately. Same thing with like a handsaw, like a panel. I know that's not really. Sorry, James. Right, this would be a panel saw, just a standard saw that you can get anywhere. I just picked this Craftsman um, off of Amazon because it was on sale, and I think the handle and the angle of it kind of I feel like that could work for my the way my hand is. So we'll see on that. So okay, so these things, the stone and the honing guide, these are their sharpening tools. So you gotta need to have some kind of stone, which I think is really just a whetstone, but wet with the H also made sense. The honing guide, sorry y'all, I had issue number 2 recording, so this is my third attempt, but I'm starting at where I left off in honing guide. The audio was not working yet again, so here we go again. So the honing guide, if you're not familiar with that, clicking into the new window is what messed up my audio, so let me not do that again. It's just a way to hold your chisel or your blade at the right angle when you sharpen it. Um, looking at the cost of 26.99 is like seems kind of like a lot when you compare like as a percentage of what your total budget is. But for the time you're going to spend doing it, it seems like it's a worthwhile tool or worthwhile accessory to buy just because, like, I don't have the energy, time, ability to fiddle with it. I just want to sharpen it and get going. So, um, that's kind of thing. But I think if you're really in a pinch, you can put this purchase off. But I think, as far as like B tier purchases, it should be on that list if you want to do it that way. I put an auger bit on here just for drilling out the dog holes. I really haven't decided if I'm gonna buy like like a manual hand brace type of drill um, to do that, or if I'm gonna just use a power tool. I don't know if the drill that I have um, can handle 3/4. I mean, if it can, I'll just use that. If not, but again, like 12.99 is not too bad. But this is not. This is like step one D or E of what you need to do for your bench. So probably even further down than that. So if you can't or won't or don't want to buy that right away, you definitely don't need to. And then um, the one of the biggest things for me, really, y'all, was the actual hand plane. Like starting off with one hand plane. You want it to be, there really is just every price point possible for it. You can get the Cadillac brand, that's several $100s. You can get kind of the mid tier, which I would consider, between like 100 to 250 maybe. Or you can, get, a budget item, on Amazon, or you can look for vintage on eBay or at a, hunt around for that. For me, I kind of decided I originally had budgeted for something a little bit more expensive. Um, that was kind of more of a familiar brand or something that is carried at like Rockler or Woodcraft. Um, but and if you can wait, or if you like know there's a sale coming up on hand planes at one of those kind of main stores, you might could get a good deal that would be worth spending a little more. But I ended up just going with this Tay Tools. They have a good seems like a good just value plane. James Wright at Wood by Wright reviewed this along with a bunch of other kind of, I think, all under $100 planes. and um, this one seemed to be a good balance of like construction quality and usability, and like, if you want to learn how to restore hand planes, then okay, but I want to learn how to build a bench right now, so that's kind of what I was going for, and I think the 99.99 is a really good value. um, Marking gauge, I mean, you could get away without it. It does make kind of making like a consistent line along the fence of another like reference surface easier, but I think it's something you could probably get away. Sorry, I got out of cutting tools and into marking and measuring. So we're out of cutting tools. You would think by my third time recording this, I would know what I'm doing. But we're in, yeah, the marking gauge, kind of, and again, kind of like a B tier kind of purchase. Um, Combination square, I had one in a tool set that just I didn't trust the bubble. I tried to hang something and it was crooked, so I'd rather just buy something that I can dedicate to my wood shop area. Didn't originally have pencils on here, but I figured like for 10 bucks, I mean, you don't have to buy them, but for 10 bucks, it might be a good thing to just be able to see your line a little bit better. Um, and I'm sorry, like the filter order changed from part one of my second recording to this part of my second recording. Um, so the pencil can maybe help you see your marking knife line a little better. Um, Also considered like those chalk pens that you see on like specials boards for restaurants, like out on the sidewalk. If you're working with darker wood, that might be something good to use. Sharpie makes them, and then a bunch of other brands make them, but definitely not needed. I think a center punch is handy for just finding like your center point on something and being able to place your like drill bit or whatever in there, not having it kind of wander out of where you originally need it placed. $7.99, not bad. The bevel gauge, I took that off my thing because I'm sure I'll need it at some point, but I can't think of what I need it for right now. The 1, 2, 3 block set, I put it on this list honestly, so because I can never remember the name for what this is, but you'll see this. I've seen this more in power tool folks videos because it's kind of it's hardened steel, and so it's not going to warp or anything, and it's kind of 1 inch on one side, 2 inch on one side, and 3 inches on another side. So it's a reliable way to like reference stuff. I can kind of see where I may want that later, but I just put it on here. It is on sale if it's something like you think would be useful for you, like, and it's also from Tay Tools, selling through Amazon. The marking knife, I mean, you can get really nice ones, but again, I'm just trying to learn the basics here, and feel like it's more important that you have good sharpening tools for it than like what you get. And again, with my hand uh mobility problems, I can't like, I can sign my name, y'all, and that's about all I can like write with my dominant hand's my right hand, and that's the hand that's gimpy. So I may need like a alternative way to palm a marking knife to be able to use it well. So that's another thing that I'm gonna have to figure out. They had just this speed square framing square combo at Home Depot. Um, I wanted something a little more like good visibility because like the kind of old style, this like gray steel with black lettering, I find it a little hard to see sometimes. Engineer square. I found like all the ones I found like that were either like a good deal or in a kit with multiples didn't have measurements on them. But I don't know if I need measurements or if it's just more important to have like a small handy like square to be able to use to mark stuff. So I didn't put that on here. I feel like I can get away with, especially for a bench top, I feel like I can do just fine with um, the other kind of measuring tools that I have, and marking tools. And as I get more into like other projects, I'll probably want to get that. So I would say other than the hand plane, the clamp situation is just a lot to take in. It's overwhelming. Like the one thing you do know is you're gonna need more than one, right? And you don't really know, maybe unless you're really planning it out like I'm trying to do, you don't know exactly how many you're gonna need. They say you can never have too many, but those people have a lot of space for N plus one clamps. So I really just tried to, what do I need to glue and hold this bench top together while the glue sets up. So I found, and in my journey, you can see I had various sources for these. So this is a 4 pack of F clamps for $38 on Amazon. They're 25% off. It's the only reason I picked those. Um, so 1 pack of 4 bar clamps, a 2 pack of 2 from Home Depot. See, that's $58. That's crazy to me, but you need them. And these are the Win brand too. Like, you know, but you need the clamps, man. Um, I needed some sawhorses to work with the wood on. These are just some Stanley aluminum kind of foldable. They're basically going to be my table legs until I figure out what I'm going to do for the legs. I had the hand screw clamps on here as something I'm going to purchase, but I might make those myself with like a kit for the hardware as just a way to practice my skills. But I think I can get away, do fine without them for right now. Um, so glue and glue applicator, like I'd originally had like a Rockler crazy glue applicator kit, but it was like $40. Then I found this one on Amazon that's got kind of two silicone brushes, a silicone spreader, and like a little pan. And I think that's plenty fine for this. I think they also have like silicone like kids bowls that you may could use for other like finishes or whatever. Um, but $17 for like a 4 piece thing, silicone. I didn't want to buy like a big pack of things that are the disposable ones that I have to throw away. I might need those for maybe some things, but um, I didn't want to do that. The wood glue itself was a journey. There are a lot of options. I'm sure if you watch online or have done any kind of furniture making or know anyone who has like Type Bond 2 is kind of the standard, strangely. And then Type Bond 3 is more like waterproof, quote unquote, and then longer working time. Type Bond 1 has longer working time than Type Bond 2. So I chose Type Bond 1 just because um, I need that grace from the working time, even just gluing up boards. So, lastly, which is also like an optional, you don't need finish on a board on a bench top, excuse me, but I kind of was just looking at different products, and there is this Odie's oil I saw in Rockler that was food safe and didn't seem like too noxious or any risk to like my cat when she inevitably jumps on the table while it's curing. Um, but you don't need it. So and it's not expensive. I mean it's a big port. It would, if I purchased it, it would be kind of a decent chunk of what I would be spending. Like it's only like $40 less than the plane that I'm buying. So I'm just holding off on that, and maybe I can find like another alternative for that. I do like the Odie's just because it's kind of food safe, and they have a bunch of different products that I'm not sure like what the difference is in all of them. One that y'all may be interested in is the dark. It's Odie's Old Dark, and it like darkens the wood over time, which I think is kind of cool idea if you're like working with maybe like a cheaper wood or like a wood that's kind of bright looking and you want it to look a little more aged. Look more into that if you're interested in that. It's kind of interesting to me, but I'm just not there yet. Finish is the least of my problems right now. Just the miscellaneous is just like could use some painter's tape. I think I have some rocking around in the closet or something, but it's probably got cat hair on it, and it's probably not even the 2 inch wide. So I just bought that. Like, it's $8. I'm sure it'll come in handy. Um, for like, some people, like, you put tape if you want to drill out like a mortise to make a joint. You'll put tape down, and then you'll take your marking knife and mark out that square. And that way, as you start hogging out that material, you kind of have a template of, not really a template, kind of, I guess, a guide on where you're staying. And then lastly, a drop cloth just to put in the floor so the glue drips there and not on the hardwood floors. So, y'all, I know this is a long video, but it took me a long time to kind of get to this point. And just to summarize, I'll take off the stuff that I'm not even purchasing right now. So, yeah, for the bench, it's just a bench top, y'all, glued together. Um, yeah, the wood, I mean, if you're just doing like utilitarian projects and you just want like whatever is at the box store, like the wood for this was crazy. It is light. I mean, I think that was one thing I was thinking about. Like, I I don't want like a table that rocks. It is light. I thought 2x4s would be enough. We'll see when I start gluing it together. We'll see how it's feeling. And with the whenever I decide what I'm doing with the legs, um, then we'll figure that out. So this is kind of the total situation here. I hope this was helpful as you're kind of getting started. If you're getting started, so you maybe are less surprised than I was. So I'm gonna try not to repeat myself from the many other takes that I've done of this video at this point. Um, but again, like, I don't think the projects I'm going to be working on right away are going to be like, I don't know if it'll be anything y'all would want to personally reproduce. It's really going to be, I got to build the infrastructure of the shop first. Then I have stuff around the house and stuff kind of for my own needs that I want to do. But I hope that at least be entertaining for you, if not like informative and giving you some spark ideas. Because I've got ideas rattling out of my brain faster than I can even. I've ideas rattling around in my brain for things I have no skills or ability to put together in any kind of reasonable time frame. But I'm hoping that'll change with this hobby, and I will see y'all on the next video, which will be kind of setting up my area and starting on this bench top. So thank y'all.